couple of great mentors at the Malt Shovel in Chuck and Freshie. I'm sure they've taught you a lot. But out of the whole beer industry, who would you really like to perhaps do a collaboration with?
Mentors. Chuck and Freshie, mentors, maybe corruptors. No, absolute gentlemen and doyens of the industry, and those two, between them and on their own, actually have seen everything. So they've seen it all from go to woe. Collaborations, there's a few there, or who I'd like to brew with directly. Obviously, our neighbours across the road, Wayward Brewing, absolutely very young. Pete and Sean, absolute gentlemen, great people, would love to do something with them. And trying to get that happening. So how we would get Malt Shovel collaborating with Waywards. The other guys we've had a very, very long history with is Bent Spoke down in Canberra, Richard Watkins. Amazing beers. I'd love to do something with those guys. Long history there. And personally, on a personal level, probably Pete Gillespie at Garage Project. There's a big gap between obviously our brands and that sort of stuff. But Pete was actually a former Malt Shovel brewer. So he did a lot of brewing here in his time, and has obviously gone on to absolutely huge and some really amazing sort of revolutionary, groundbreaking brewing. So I would love to do something with Pete, but one day maybe.
I really do love those Garage Project beers. I had absolutely no idea that he originated at the Malt Shovel Brewery, so that's awesome. Now tell us something that we might not know about the Malt Shovel Brewery perhaps.
Interesting fact is that every single one of our brewers that have worked here, we now give everybody their brewer number when they start. So we've actually had 52 different brewers through here since 1988, which is pretty huge. And a lot of those brewers have gone on to some really, really big and great things.
I had absolutely no idea that you guys are such a craft beer breeding ground. That's sensational. Now, mate, I'm hearing whispers on the street that perhaps you might be getting the band back together and bringing back out the Mad Brewers. Tell us a bit about that.
Mad Brewers Rerelease. Oh, pressing for the hard stuff.
I'm hard hitting, aren't I?
Mad Brewers obviously was a big part of this place in the past, and the brewing team here currently would really love to bring it back in some way, shape or form. Not sure that it would look like Mad Brewers. It might be something different, but I don't want to give too much away, but we're working on stuff now, and it tastes pretty good. We're just working through how we might bring that out and what we might do with it. But we really want to, obviously Squires is what it is and the size of what it is nowadays. We really want to get in touch with the local inner west community, because this brewery, as I was saying before, it's been here for 30 years. So we want to bring something out that sort of touches the inner west of Sydney, and is a bit more of a full-on expression of what the brewers here in sort of where the craft has gone. So keen to bring something out where we can just get off the hook and do what we want. So maybe if we were hypothetically to bring something out, and the first release that we were to bring out, it would be something that you would have seen before. So if we were to release Mad Brewers, we might do something that we've done before just to bring it back. So yeah, I like it. You'll just have to wait a bit longer to see exactly what it is.
I'm going to guess by those subtle hints that it's not going to be the Stout Noir again. Anyway, mate, let's get some hard-hitting questions in here now. Give us your thoughts on the big versus small and the right to call yourself craft beer in this current market.
Big versus small, this is always the million-dollar question. It's all beer to me, craft or not craft. I think you don't get craft wine, you don't get craft spirits, you don't get craft cider. So the beer industry is getting quite segregated like that. At the end of the day, it's all beer to me. Every brewery has an owner, and invariably every owner is trying to make money. You wouldn't be in business if you didn't. And within those breweries, you've got a lot of brewers that get paid for by those owners in terms of their salaries and wages. So as long as beer is made with respect and authenticity, and I'll absolutely categorically say that the guys at the big breweries are doing that. A lot of people make assumptions that they're not. It's kind of how it all fits in. The brewing industry, the competition within itself, in terms of what's craft and what's not craft, I don't think it's healthy. As they say, or my dad would say, a rising tide floats all boats. So the whole beer industry, we need to get together and get more people drinking beer as opposed to some of the other stuff that they might be turning to, be it alcoholic beverages or not. In saying that, you know, the guys that are drinking beer, I hate seeing people that drink something like VB or Tui's New Lambasted for the fact that they're not drinking craft. If that's what they want to drink, that's what they want to drink. And every single person drinking those sort of beers is another person that we can say, hey, have you tried this, and expand them through that whole gamut and range of awesome beers that are out there now. So, you know, those guys coming off some of those mainstream beers might try a Lashes or a Fat Yak and step right through. And, you know, hopefully, as most of us, and I figure a lot of your audiences, end up on, you know, a Pirate Life double IPA or a Russian Imperial Stout somewhere. So it's all beer to me. And I think the more time we spend arguing about whether it's craft or not craft, then we're just wasting our own time.
Thanks for your honesty there, mate. I really appreciate that. I totally understand it. Let's go a little bit lighter with the questions now. Give us an insight into what your desert island beer would be.
Oh, the desert island beer. Yeah, tough one. Probably got two answers. Because I'm born and bred in Freo, Little Creatures Pale Ale is close to my heart, so it reminds me of home. And living in Fremantle, I kind of watched that beer develop and that brewery develop. So absolutely huge. So kind of very fond of that. It's, very often a go-to. But the other one that I really, really rate is Lagunitas IPA. Probably at the lower end of the scale for US IPAs, but very, very approachable, still big, very, very well balanced, and just very, very friendly. So I don't think I've ever had a Lagunitas IPA that I haven't enjoyed, and I haven't gone back for a second one. So I'd probably Lagunitas IPA, and it has to be fresh, not, fresh as a daisy.
I love your choices there, mate, and I absolutely agree. Fresh is best, for sure. Now, this is a sensational industry, and I'm doing all that I can to cling onto it by doing all this stuff at the Beer Healer Shed. What do you think's the best thing about being involved in the craft beer industry?
The best thing about the industry, surprisingly, and a lot of people freak out when I say it, it's not the beer. It's actually the people within it, especially the brewers that we get to hang around with and knock around with. So the industry, from a brewing level, is not competitive. It's not aggressive. It is sometimes on a consumer level with beer. It gets very, very passionate, but the brewers just tend to love hanging out with each other, and we have a heap of fun behind closed doors. Lots of smiles, lots of respect, lots of pats on the back. Even if you don't like what other guys are doing, it's all amicable. A lot of beer gets spilt on each other, but lots of hugs and high fives. So
yeah, mate, absolutely. It's such a great industry, and you are so lucky to be doing something you're really passionate about and call it a job. Anyway, mate, I just want to say thanks very much for joining me here again today. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure. I'll keep you in the loop with what happens with Mad Brewers or whatever it might look like.
Sounds great, mate. Please do.
I'm keen to do a bit more investigating into exactly what involvement you may have had in our previous Mad Brewers, because I've heard rumours that you yourself, yours truly, were involved in something that we've done in the past. So I'm going to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah, I did enjoy my time working with the Mad Brewers labels. Absolutely sensational beers, in my opinion.
Thanks for having me in the shed. Looks good. I've got to get there in person one day, but thank you very much, and keep on healing.
Thanks, mate. Please say good day to my old mates around the craft beer team and the Malt Shovel Brewery. And look, mate, as usual, cheers to great beers.